Look, in all honesty, artificial intelligence is kind of scary because we don't know what we're dealing with until this moment. Even people at GPT, like the CEO of it, Sam Altman, would tell you that they know what they're doing, but the truth is no one knows, and that's why they are where they are at this stage. You should be scared. But you should be scared because you're curious, and we as curious human beings are always scared of stuff that we don't know. Let's say, for example, aliens land somewhere in the US, of course, and then we are supposed to deal with that. You and I know that we're going to be a bit intimidated of what they could do because in a moment, we're all programmed to the idea that this might lead to mass extinction if they want to. Similarly, this is the main root of fear when it comes to artificial intelligence. People are afraid of losing their jobs. People are afraid of what AI can do, but the core fear comes with the fact that we don't really understand what it is. For that, I thought and brainstormed of researched as well the top AI questions, some AI questions that we're wondering, and use cases of how AI could be good or bad in these situations. So let's get on to it. Welcome to Non-Edited, a podcast that is just mainly talk, honestly, and some research on the side. So the first question I thought of is, under the field of automation, when it comes to full self-driving, for example, who is responsible when we make such decisions? Now let's talk a little bit about FSD, or full self-driving, when it comes to Tesla and all these companies, and why it's kind of a problem around the world. The truth is, applying full self-driving is not a problem, and it's already applied in a lot of places. Additional to that, it is statistically safer to have cars driving in a full self-driving mode all the time compared to humans, because the number one cause of accidents are human error. But there are ethical dilemmas. I read that in a book once before. A good example is that an Uber self-driving car in 2018 hit a pedestrian who later died at the hospital. And then it was the first death involving a self-driving car. And then the court ruled that, or the Arizona Police Department made an investigation, and then they ruled that the company is not criminally liable for the death of the pedestrian because he was or she was distracted with her cell phone. This is a small example of how scary it is. You see, if you read about a piece of news of some human hitting another pedestrian and the other pedestrian was on her phone, you would be a little bit intrigued, or you would feel a little bit sad, but you wouldn't think about it the next day. Yet when a machine does it, this is when your core instinct is moved, because the result of death of this human being was not another human being. We can err as much as possible. Machines, we get scared around that. And that's the core reason of the problem when it comes to full self-driving. Another very good example that I also read was an ethical dilemma when the full self-driving car is going to have an accident. Let's say we're in a crossroads where it is forced to have an accident and it has to make the best possible choice. Now, usually humans do that in a split-second decision. When it comes to AI, it does that very quickly as well, but it does it statistically, not emotionally. So it could choose, for example, to save an elderly person rather than a young person, which is not a problem, but some people might not like it. They did a bit of a research on an online game called Morality Machine. It's a project, you could Google it if you're interested, to see how people react to such situations. And in Western countries, people were more likely to save an elderly person than a young person. Women more than men in other cultures as well, or this is predominant across many cultures. So the truth is, some people have biases, and artificial intelligence does not have that bias. If a person is, for example, if there is a child versus a group of 60-year-old people, the machine would generally go for the most rational decision, which is save those 60-year-old people and just kill the child. But you see that word, when a machine is responsible for the death of a child, it's a little bit scary. And for that reason, it's a problem in many, many nations. Yet still, it is thriving. Full self-driving is thriving in the US. And I think I read something about China as well, getting on board with applying full self-driving across everywhere. Another company outside of Tesla was Waymo, and it has full self-driving cars. In case you aren't aware, it's more like a robo-taxi sort of situation, and they have started their operations in Phoenix and San Francisco, and the efforts have enabled us, I'm quoting them right now, to provide over 100,000 paid weekly trips, a tenfold increase from last year. Now, this is for autonomous vehicles as well. So when it comes to that, it is growing. The autonomous freeway operations are growing. So people are accepting full self-driving more and more. I personally don't think I would have a problem with riding a robotaxi because I would be curious. And if it does the job well, then it does the job well. But the problem comes with global scaling. This is the core issue that it comes with full self-driving, and one of the problems, or one of the questions when we think of who's going to make the decision, who's responsible for the decision. Of course, people kind of think bigger than full self-driving when it comes to such decisions, but this is the start. Another question would be, can we trust AI with our lives? Now, when I said this question, I was thinking of a certain industry, which is healthcare. I'm very interested in healthcare, and I always work on research when it comes to healthcare. The truth is, you have to look at the positive aspect of it. There's a lot of movement when it comes to artificial intelligence and healthcare. A good example is Google's DeepMind. Now, Google's DeepMind has developed an algorithm which looks at an OCT, it's kind of an eye scan, and identify a wide range of eye diseases such as macular degeneration and diabetic eye disease. The truth is, regardless of this exact use case, you should learn that there are similar use cases. When it comes to diseases, you don't really mind if AI is kind of supporting in this sense. If it would diagnose you more accurately, or if it would diagnose you earlier, all these things are something we don't have a fear of. We could be actually very thankful for this. So there is no fear, because in this sense, AI is playing the good cop or the good person and is saving lives. And when it comes to saving lives, it does have a lot of potential in this area. Alphabet also worked on with Isomorphic Labs. That's a company that belongs to Alphabet, which is Google, to collaborate with Novartis. It's a drug company, and they worked on an AI-driven drug discovery process. I've researched recently the market when it comes to drug discovery, and it could take from 5 to 12 years for a company to actually release the drug from ideation. So it's a very sensitive market in this sense that we do need artificial intelligence to make our healthcare system develop faster, or test faster at least, with the data that we have. So this is a good example. They took a sum of cash, around 45 million, to collaborate on research into small molecule therapeutics against multiple targets. It's interesting. And when it comes to us trusting AI with our lives, the truth is it's always going to be controversial, because healthcare and AI are going to have problems. Some machine out there is going to have a bug, and it's going to misdiagnose a person with something, and it's going to be all over the news. But just because of the ethical dilemma, if you circle back, you're going to find out that it's still a lot less than the human error in the healthcare industry that we have nowadays. So I believe we can trust AI with our lives when it comes to healthcare, because it's just smart to statistically use their power to develop drugs faster, to work on a better healthcare system, and so on. Now, final question was, will AI replace or enhance human abilities? And this use case is the educational system, which I absolutely love. And I know that the whole world is going towards personalized learning. You are learning differently than the person next to you, than your father, than your mother, than everyone. Everyone needs its specific personalized learning mechanism in order to get the information that they need to get. A good use case for using AI in education is Duolingo, the language learning app. They have a new feature called Video Call with Lily. If you are not new to language learning, you're gonna for sure know that language learning is one thing and talking to people is something completely different. People do tandems where they can go and meet with people and talk to them in the language to have the confidence to actually speak it out loud. Now, using a video call with an AI system, if it's as good as GPT's natural language or natural sounds, then this could be a very good use case. I have not tried the video call with Lily yet, but I know that it could have potential in the future after a few enhancements if it's not that good at the moment. Another good example for education is the company called Anchor was sold to Spotify. It's sort of a podcast platform, and it was sold to Spotify for around 340 million. And the founders went on to create a company called Oboe. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. But this company is focused on personalized learning. Let me quote them. At Oboe, we're building products aimed at empowering those billions of people to learn exactly what they want to learn 10 times more efficiently, effectively, and affordably than ever before. I think the key word here is efficiently, because I know the educational system right now is not efficient. A lot of people are just needing to get the information in a different way, and society or a lot of educational system consider them slower than the others, and they would just do some sort of differentiation where they put them in different classes or so on, which is outrageous, because the truth is everyone has some sort of language learning mechanism with creativity that they need to get it and enthusiasm that they do in their lives. And the educational system in this particular part is flawed. And for that reason, I believe that artificial intelligence is a very strong use case when it comes to education. Now, at this stage, to sum it up all together, you are gonna feel scared about artificial intelligence. Even if you don't feel it right now, eventually, when it comes to affect your job, which it will, and then some friend of yours is going to send you that this document was made by AI and it's something that is better or on the same level that's something that you've been working on for a while. At that moment, it wouldn't be wise to freak out or to get scared, because it's not going to benefit anyone if you do so. What would be wise is to start to learn and educate yourself, similar to how your parents and grandparents got to learn how to use phones, WhatsApp, and all of those. Eventually, they wanted to integrate in society. They wanted to speak to you. They wanted to chat with you. So they learned how to use WhatsApp. You're going to need to learn how to use artificial intelligence, not in an aggressive sort of way, and not because you have to, but because you're going to want to. If it's fully part of our system, which is not dependent on your feelings, it's more dependent on how society is evolving. And if it is actually proving itself to be improving everything, then you will be using it one day or another. So it might be good to have an open mind at this stage. Thank you for watching and have a great day.